Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and today we're taking a look at what's coming for Horus Heresy in 2024. This video is sponsored by CMO Games. More on that later. What's coming to the Horus Heresy in 2024? It's been a busy year for the Horus Heresy. What with the thunderous arrival of the Mark 6 Assault Squad, the Mark 3 Tactical Squad, the mighty Deredeo Dreadnought, plastic Cerastus class Knights, and more. And 2024 is set to be just as intense. How intense? Wouldn't you like to know? So watch a video for prophetic hints on what's coming to the most bloody civil war in 10,000 years. Alright, so we got a little video here. Let's take a look. Alright, so we got a standard bearer, look like maybe a Terminator. We've got some kind of weapons platform. Look like Adeptus Mechanicus maybe? The epic conflict continued in 2023? Okay, so that's probably a mistake. Oh no, okay, these are the reveals from 2023. So I think Fulgrim Transfigured was definitely the most awesome kit. Unfortunately, Forge World Resin. The Deredeo, pretty cool. The Legion Imperialis stuff, obviously awesome as well. So that is worth note that they're kind of like putting that all together in right here. So there we see a standard bearer, something going on with his arm. That is definitely, looks like some Adeptus Mechanicus stuff right there. Hopefully that's going to be plastic stuff coming to the range. Oh, wow, that was it. So very, very short. Okay, interesting. So, yeah, let's take a closer look at this stuff. So I can't quite make out what's going on with his hand right there. Okay, so, man, it's tough to tell. I don't think this is a Terminator. This looks like a regular Space Marine right here. He's got the chonky legs, but doesn't look like a Terminator. Something going on with his hand right here. Can't quite make out what it is, what kind of weapon or equipment or something. But obviously we have a standard bearer. All right, and then here we have some AdMech. Looks like basically a las cannon, sort of like a precursor to like the chickens. It looks like the base is not that high off the ground. So he has like relatively stubby legs. Sort of looks like the Space Marine, kind of like a weapons platform. I can't quite think of the name of it. But definitely does look like an Adeptus Mechanicus bro riding on top. So pretty cool, actually pretty nice. You know, we don't know if this stuff is going to be coming in plastic or resin because there's been so much of the Horus Heresy stuff in resin. All right, so yeah, that looks like just a regular Marine. I can't quite decide what the armor is, and I definitely can't quite tell what's going on with the hand. Again, I can't quite tell what's going on there. It sort of looks like an Arthesium, but I can't quite tell. Interesting enough. You guys let me know what's down below. Obviously, this is not my wheelhouse. All right, so here we see like a foot version of some sort of Adeptus Mechanicus guy, standard on the back, holding some sort of regular rifle. Pretty neat. Man, there's just not really that much here, though. Okay, so here we see again. So this looks like the real precursor to like the walkers that we have now in 40K. It looks much more like, much less squatted, I should say, in this. Definitely looks pretty neat. So hopefully that's coming in plastic. I know people have been really pulling for like more Adeptus Mechanicus in plastic and have been overall like a little disappointed so far. So, but definitely pretty cool. I like the overall look of that. Obviously, like it's just a silhouette, but okay. So unfortunately, not a lot there. I would say this is definitely a bit of a letdown. Coming off of basically like what they mentioned here. Obviously, the Assault Squad was like a huge deal. People were really excited for the Apothecaries, which unfortunately were in resin. Some of the tactical squads and stuff like that, pretty cool. But the Deredeo Dreadnought, obviously an awesome kit. The Cerastus Knights, all three of them, amazing. I personally really like the Lancer, but those are like some epic kits right there. They don't mention it here, but Legion Imperialis was like mentioned in the video. That was obviously a big deal. So very surprising that they basically just showed off 3 models for Horus Heresy. Because between like the Horus Heresy, like full on 30K regular size game, and then also Legion Imperialis as well, for them to only show off 1 standard bearer, 1 AdMech guy on foot, and then 1 little chicken walker, that is definitely pretty weak for like a preview going into 2024. I would imagine they would have showed off at least like more models than that and potentially something like a little more exciting. But I mean, who knows? Obviously, there was a lot of hiccups this year. Legion Imperialis got pushed back and everything. I'm surprised that they even like mentioned it in the video and then didn't show off something from Legion Imperialis. Honestly, have to say underwhelming as well. I know at this point in time, the biggest things I've heard people requesting for Horus Heresy, like the full-size game, are basically like plastic Adeptus Mechanicus. and plastic Astra Militarum. And, you know, those aren't technically like the proper names for 30K, but, you know, basically Imperial Guard and AdMech. I'm sure there's still a few things for like 30K like Space Marines as well that people want, but the majority of the stuff that people have been asking for, I think we've seen now. And in none of the reveals that they did so far for 40K, Sigmar, and then now for Horus Heresy, did we see like anything big. All of the models we saw were like relatively normal sized. There was the Krut riding on the little dinosaur. That was probably the biggest thing, if I can recall, like being shown off. And maybe if they do have like something big coming, like a knight or potentially like a titan, or maybe even like a big flyer or something like that, they just don't want to like spoil it with like an early reveal like this. But I personally have to say that that was a little bit underwhelming for me. Now, here's the thing. I don't actually play Horus Heresy, nor do I really have that much interest in it, but I know a lot of you guys do. So I do try to like cover it, but I really don't know at this point in time, like what other stuff people specifically want other than what I've just mentioned. But what I do know is there's definitely some people out there that are worried, or at least some talks or rumors that Warhammer the Horus Heresy is not going to be supported long term. Now, I don't know if that's necessarily the case, and I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing either. I mean, if the game plays well, if they have the majority of the model range out there and then just slowly expand on it over time, I don't think that they need to provide like the same level of support that they do for Sigmar and 40K. I think one nice thing about the Horus Heresy and about the old world that people are looking forward to is like the less updates and less changes and just more of like a comfortable game that you can just play on occasion or regularly, but not have to worry about like all of the crazy FAQs and rules changes and new books and all that stuff. So I actually like the idea of them having Horus Heresy and the old world be like less frequently changed, or, you know, arguably like less supported, however you want to refer to it. So I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. As a matter of fact, I think that's a great thing, because then people have a much better idea what they're getting into. Like the people that just want to have like more of a consistent addition, a game, not as much changes, you know, they can gravitate more towards like Horus Heresy or Warhammer Fantasy Battles, like the old world. And the people that want like the up-to-date regular changes, new books all the time, new models all the time, those people tend to gravitate towards like the newer, fancier thing, like 40K and Age of Sigmar. And honestly, I think that's great. Like differentiating those two like products and also like the two ways that they're going to treat their games is definitely a good idea, because there's a lot of other games out there that people enjoy that don't receive the support from like other different game companies. And I think that's a good thing, as long as they occasionally like update the rules, occasionally put out new models. There's certain people that would actually prefer that. Now a quick message from today's sponsor. CMO Games has been selling Games Workshop products online for over 20 years. They carry the full line of Games Workshop products, including Warhammer 40,000, Age of Sigmar, Necromunda, Blood Bowl, paint tools, and more. Almost all Games Workshop products are priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games takes pre-orders for most Games Workshop products released at their earliest date possible. 12:01 a.m. on Saturday, they go live. Most of these pre-order products are also priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games offer free shipping in the US 48 with an order of $50 or more. Their customer service is top-notch, and they ship most orders within 24 hours. Visit CMOGames.com using the affiliate link in the description and let them know that you heard about CMO Games from Warhammer Man. Now, back to the video. But in my opinion, as a like model company, which is what Games Workshop really is, and the game is sort of just like a way to sell the models, it's very important for them to be constantly changing things to essentially incentivize people to buy like things that they haven't been using, things that haven't been good for a few editions, or like new things as they come out. You know, and as a game store or like a retailer, that's actually better for like the companies, because obviously you want people constantly coming in, buying the hot new thing. You want those regular releases every week or every 2 weeks, because that's going to drum up your sales. Because the problem with the old games that aren't as supported, that don't have the books coming out regularly, that don't have the models coming out regularly, is once you like have your army, sure, you might pick up some additional units here or there, you know, once you work through your pile of shame, or once you decide you want to change a thing here or there. Maybe you don't have enough like artillery or like heavy support or something like that. But if there's not regular releases coming out, it doesn't drum up the same sales. And in this sort of like TikTok FOMO world that we have right now, that's definitely not the ideal way for a company like Games Workshop to operate. So kind of having like the differentiation between the two things, between like the two different types of game systems, and then obviously like a future and a fantasy one, I think is a great idea, because you're basically giving the people what they want. The people that want the regular releases, the constant changes, the hot new thing, they've got 40K and Sigmar. The people that want something to come out here and there, a little bit more of a slow trickle, you know, fix issues with the actual game over time, put out some new models here and there, those people have Warhammer Horus Heresy and the old world. So let me know what you think down below. Obviously, there is different people that are excited about different things. If you're more into the models, you want the regular hot new things. If you're more into the games, you could want either. Maybe you want less is more with the changes. Maybe you want regular changes. For me, I'm all about the models. I love playing the games, but I think for a lot of people, they just look at the actual games themselves as sort of like checkers where you're just moving pieces around the board. For me, I want like the most amazing models because I truly enjoy like the hobby and the painting and like the hot new stuff. So let me know what you think down below. Obviously, we discussed quite a bit in this video. I have to say that I'm a little bit let down or a little bit disappointed, or I guess you would say underwhelmed with this. I think seeing some Adeptus Mechanicus plastic kits going forward would be awesome, or Mechanicum, whatever you want to call it. I think some Imperial Guard like Astra Militarum 30k stuff would be great. I'm surprised that they even mentioned Legion Imperialis, but didn't show off anything for it. But always like to hear back from you guys in the comments. You guys know this is not really my wheelhouse. I tend to like stay in my lane a little bit more, but I do rely on you guys to let me know, what are you really waiting for Horus Heresy at this point in time? I know for me, the thing that would excite me the most is to see like a plastic Titan, you know, start small with like a Warhound. That would be amazing. Maybe some more like plastic flyers. I would love to see a plastic Thunderhawk come in 2024. That would be like my #1 for the flyers. But always like to hear back from you guys in the comments. Special thanks to CMO Games for sponsoring the video. Check out the link in the description to save 15% on Games Workshop products. That's it for today. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man. And that sort of just felt like Games Workshop going through the motions. And I'm out of here.